It is. I don't know how to say it. I mean, it is. Okay. Hi. This is Sanko Namchlak. I am guest here in Shanghai.
山口是一位来自俄罗斯图瓦共和国的实验音乐家和视觉艺术家，出生于1957年。早在90年代中国刚开始摇滚乐时，他已经在玩融合爵士、氛围电子和即兴艺术了。他的音乐深受图瓦、蒙古和西伯利亚文化的影响，常常探索传统与现代之间的界限，有意过于超前和抽象。网友调侃奶奶是神曲龚琳娜老师外国版。以下为奶奶上世纪部分实验作品剪影，感兴趣的朋友可以自行研究。
我的心里边一样。
Neil B.
We're so glad to have this friendly chat. So the first question is, how would you describe yourself in your eyes with just one sentence?
Okay. I am a little bird witnessing time of changing of centuries. I'm a little bird who is witnessing the change of 20th century into the 21st century.
Wow, that's the answer I never thought.
A little bird.
And how do you view nomadic culture and nomadic music? Because you are famous to being a worldwide nomadic artist.
Okay.
You can just express naturally.
Okay. I have been studying nomadic culture as a historical in heritage from archive recordings when I was a student. And then later on, I was myself becoming a modern type of nomad, traveling in the world, playing concerts and making projects here and there. And I've been still continuing about nomadic culture. So in our days, it's music of nomadic culture. In all the time by archive, I know how it's sounding. And I was trying to connect music of nomadic culture into the modern nomadic culture. Yes, that was my study.
So basically, like you are from this nomadic culture, but you're also always on the way of it.
Yes. And I've been, of course, studying how the traditional, old, archaic nomadic culture is influencing the modern nomadic culture, especially music.
Okay, great. So looking back at your artist career, how did you start your career when you are very young as maybe a girl in 20s, right?
Yeah. So at the beginning I was searching for how to sing like Ima Sumac. Ima Sumac is a legendary singer from Peru, but she ended up in Hollywood, working for Hollywood music industry. I was studying 12 years, like classical, modern classical music and ethnographic archive recordings. And in these 12 years, I was going through, understand what is modern classical music, what is ethnographic music, what is ethnography, or what is music ethnography in our time. And I was studying ethnographic archive recordings of shamans and lamas, as well as singing, overtone singing of men in the 60s and the 70s, last century. So I was listening a lot of recording to understand how human voice, how voice was developing through all these years, and how modern vocal performers or modern singers are using their natural gift from nature on the performances today. So this was going 12 years.
Okay. So in your career, what are the most significant challenges and maybe difficulties you have faced? How did you respond? How did you deal with all these kind of problems?
Okay. So first, most significant challenge was when I discovered that I can sing almost like Ima Sumac. Means I can large up my voice and I can sing more. I can have more varieties of voice. So the fact of discovering your own voice as a great instrument, this was my first challenge. But after discovering this, of course, I discovered the difficulties too. And the first difficulties was not overtone singing. First difficulties was how to bring all those forbidden, by that time, when I was starting, it was still time of Soviet Union, how to challenge shamanistic and lamaistic techniques of singing into a live performance. So that was almost terrifying question, because I wanted to show it to the audience, but I didn't know how. Okay, sooner or later I found a form, we found the formulation, and I even won a prize for my first time performance in 1986. But later on, already in the 80s, in the 90s, I started to have a problem of people pointing and saying, but this is not elegant, it's not beautiful. Especially the overtone singing you try to make it, it's not elegant at all. So they were not saying you may not, they were just saying it's not beautiful, it's ugly looking. When a woman is trying to be like a man, this was the first difficulties. But my response to this problem was that I was trying to blend melodic singing with all those soundscapes, like imitation of voices of nature and homai, into the melodic singing. So I was trying to mix it, kind of. Even trying to imitate some kind of children voice or voices of older people. I was trying, through changing these voices, still to make it in a more harmonized melodic way. Yeah, that was my experiment. And it was not so easy. It was quite dangerous, because if you are arrested on this exchange, you might get to the prison.
And for the young people, is there any differences between the environment when you are young and today? Because there are always young people, right? Generation after generation, we have to face this world, face the changing environment. So for you, what's the difference between the challenges you faced and today's young face?
年轻人不要太气盛，不气盛叫年轻人吗？
Well, when I started to be, let's say, a student who studied the music, the problems we had was different than now, Now you can find any recording, any recording you like, you can find. By that time, when I was starting, the main problem was to find information. In the 70s and the 80s, there was no Google, there was no internet, and there was no even possibility to record, to get some music, For example, when I met my future husband in 1975, I came to their room where they live, and I heard, very first time, I heard Beatles. I heard Elton John and Stevie Wonder, their songs. And in my head, I absolutely lost my mind, because it was so beautiful. But they have been listening this music on very big analog tapes. And for to listen these analog tapes, I was ready to go at their house every day, Just was coming and listening and listening and listening. So, but this is a very good luck, Some people never found it, So to find the recordings of Stevie Wonder, for example, or Beatles, or even Schnittke, or some special classical music, was not possible. You have to look for it. There were special points where the music fans was meeting and exchanging LPs and the recordings. And it was not so easy. It was quite dangerous, because if you are arrested on this exchange, you might get to the prison. This is a problem. By that time, of course. Now young people has information about everything. They can easily find information on everything. The problem is there is no, everybody can have aim. What for?
Yes.
If earlier time I had aim, but I had no all these LPs, CDs and tapes of recording, analog tapes of recording. We didn't have a book, but I had aim inside. I wanted to sing like Ima Sumak, and I wanted to know how modern music is sounding outside.
Yes.
So nowadays, when the young generation has the possibility to get anything, and it costs almost nothing, you can download for 2-3 yuan or maximum 10 yuan you can download a lot of material, a lot of text, a lot of audio, you know? So when it is like this, the brain or your consciousness is not able to concentrate what exactly you want. What for are you doing? What for are you waking up in the morning? And what are you having in your mind when you go to sleep? To say, okay, tomorrow I want to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
It is more about now of having those because it's very easy to deliver, having a food because it's very easy to deliver and receive it, and it costs very little, you know?
Yes.
So you don't need to have much money to have luxury life, to have luxury situation of having all information you want to have. You can get any music, any book, any text, any information if you want. But the problem is most of people don't know why, what for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the main difference, you know. All the time, the life was mostly with a high deficit of food, information, clothes, beautiful clothes was not enough, but there was very strong will to find all this, to have it and to know information, to learn, study.
The will was stronger.
The will was, will was stronger. Now is
today we have more
possible to have everything, but it's very difficult
to find
all that aim, why, and how. Two main questions, why and how, is a main problem.
886